heads up for restaurant and franchise leaders listening. The Restaurant Franchising and Innovation Summit is coming up March 16th through the 18th in San Diego. If you want practical ideas around growth, tech, and operations, this is a great one to attend. You can save 20% when you register at franchisinginnovation.com with the code PODCAST. Welcome to the Restaurant Operator Podcast. I'm Mandy Detweiler, editor of Pizza Marketplace and QSR Web, and I'm here today with Guy Weiss, co-founder and CEO of Zenzap, and Sean Walchef with California Barbecue out of San Diego. Guys, thanks so much for being with us today. This is going to be fun.
Thanks for having us.
Excited.
So let's just jump into the nitty gritty right now. What is Zenzap? And tell me a little bit about the company, Guy.
Should I or should Sean as a customer?
Whoever wants to take it.
Maybe that's better. I'd love to hear Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. So I own Cali Barbecue, me and my wife. We've been in business for 18 years. We have 3 locations, a stadium location at Snapdragon Stadium. We have a fast casual location on the San Diego Navy base on 32nd Street. And then we have our main barbecue restaurant. We've been doing it for 18 years. We use Zenzap to do communication. I think one of the most important things for a modern restaurateur, a modern business owner, is to have tight communications with your teams, knowing that there's so many different apps that you need to be on. You have to make sure that the most important communication that you do with your management, that you do with your front of the house staff, back of the house staff, happens seamlessly, and preferably it happens in a secure environment. One of the coolest things about having Zenzap is I get hundreds, if not thousands, of notifications across email, across Slack, across iMessage, all these different places. But I know that in my Zenzap communication, I know that that's where my restaurant, where my business is being run. So it makes it really exciting for me to, be on this podcast, to talk with Guy, talk with you, Mandy. I know how many operators are busy and they need less distractions in their day.
Wow, Sean, that's amazing. Thank you.
I don't think you could. I was going to say, I don't think you could get a better testimonial than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for hosting us. And,
thank you. My wife actually thanks you for the fact that I'm not on a manager group chat on my iMessage.
Yeah. So I really glad to hear Sean and how he and his wife and their pretty amazing business is using Zenzap to operate. And I think the key thing I love to say is like the most powerful software always aren't the best. We need to have something that is simple enough. And the idea behind Zenzap is to stop this chaotic way of communication. And I think Zen and Zap is like the perfect combination of something that is calm and easy to use on one hand, and you can get things done very quickly with your team on the other hand. So that's like to wrap up the idea.
Guy, based on all the restaurant clients that you have, what is the single biggest communication challenge you see almost every operator struggling with today? What's the biggest challenge?
Yeah, I think it goes straight forward with what Sean just mentioned. I think that the no control, total chaos, if you have tens or hundreds of people working with you, it's all day long communications. Restaurants and hospitality is a 24/7 business. Is the first and most important thing about this business is to deliver exceptional experience and streamlining your operation, and that's quite a challenge when not using the right tools. And I think it's been a long time where there's not the right tools in place to streamline communication. And this is the biggest pain point. Scattered communication, things are falling between, I said something, but you couldn't catch it because it was in a group chat and I missed it. And it's a personal app. So I'm not even noticing because I have so many, friends texting me or whatever it is. So it's a no control from one hand from the business owner and total chaos on the other hand. That's the biggest pain.
So let me ask you a quick question. This is coming from my daughter. She works in a restaurant And I was telling her about Zenzap, and she said, why don't we just use a group chat? That's what we use. So what is the difference between using Zenzap and using a group chat or some other kind of communication like that?
Yeah, Sean, do you wanna
Yeah,
tell like your
Please.
point?
it's easy. I mean, the problem with group chats is that group chats work until somebody's no longer part of the group. Awkward, super awkward. You're in a family group chat and then somebody leaves the chat. Super awkward. Who owns the communication? This business chat allows you to be, and I mean, depending on where you are in the world, we're in California, we're operating in San Diego. We can't expect our hourly employees to be responding to messages 365, 24/7. So there's lots of different legal reasons why you wouldn't want to have a group chat, but more importantly, just from peace of mind. I mean, not having to worry about the same place that your mother, your father, your grandparents, your aunt, your uncles, your best friends are texting you. All of a sudden, you get messages from your coworkers because they need help and they need someone to come cover their shift, or they're wondering, like, who was the opener last night? Who was the closer last night? Who did this task? Who didn't do this task? And you're like, this is my first day off in 5 days. I've been opening and closing. The last thing I want to hear about is, like, what's going wrong again. And for us using Zenzap, I mean, when we first started the restaurant in 2008, the way that our managers would communicate was with an actual book. Like, we would write into a notebook. It was our manager log, a red book, a manager log. And like at the end of the night, the manager's going to start, journaling what happened, the things that the next opening manager should have. And now we don't have to have that anymore. I mean, we send photos, we send videos through Zenzap. I mean, every single manager knows what's going on because of, the secure communication.
Yeah, well, that's spot on. I think that onboarding and offboarding is a huge challenge, and when using group chats, it's just impossible to onboard and offboard, as Sean mentioned. And there's also risk, like from a business perspective. Think about, I don't know, one of your cooks, a chef, is leaving and going in his journey, and he's basically taking all of your IP, all of your recipes, all of your knowledge, and can leverage it in somewhere else because he's still a part of the group chats. And even if you ask him nicely to leave those group chats, all the data until that point of time stays with him, backed on to his private cloud, and is there forever. So think about, I think Sean and I were speaking a few months ago, and we both said, like, it's like everyone would use their private Gmail to any workplace they would go through. It doesn't make any sense. So basically that's the idea. And I think to top the productivity side of it is you will never open many group chats for different contexts, even with the same team, because it's already overwhelming. While having a separate place for work, you can definitely have, I don't know, the same team, the same group of people talking about shift management on one hand, and I don't know, supply or whatever. Same people, different contexts. They would have two separate places with a lot of less noise. So that is not possible when using one messy group chat that everything gets lost. It's just too overwhelming. So I think making things calm, streamline, and making it to the point, that's key.
Sean, how does using a personal chat app for work affect teams' work-life balance and their sense of privacy and security?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest cliche in the restaurant business is that we're all family. And yes, we are all family. We love our staff, we love our team. We couldn't do it without them. But honestly, if we're honest about families have problems too. And like, you as a business owner, the most important thing that you do is that you run an effective hospitality business. And the only way to run an effective hospitality business is to be secure in your communications, to be confident in your communications, and to know that when somebody's part of the work, if they are a server and they're doing a great job and they're communicating with the other servers, it's a secure place for them. But when that server leaves, as Guy said, it's crazy to think that you're using your personal Gmail at different workplaces. Like that is your personal communication, and the only way to stay secure is to use an app like Zenzap. I mean, I think it's crazy to think we're obsessed with technology at our restaurant. Like we are tech forward restaurant. We wouldn't be open to this day if it wasn't for all the technology tools that we've implemented. But until I found Zenzap, I didn't realize what I was missing. I didn't realize that I had commingled. I mean, that's essentially what it is, commingled communication with my management, with my front of the house staff, with my back of the house staff, because let's be honest, iPhones make it easy. WhatsApp makes it easy, but because it's easy, does it mean it's right? No, it doesn't mean it's right. There has to be some sort of work-life balance.
I think, Mandy, that's so, that's like the feeling of somebody working in the hospitality business. And I've been working in hospitality business as a young boy. I think that what Sean just mentioned is totally right. And I think if you want to even give like a real sense to it, think about sexual harassments. Think about me. I don't know. Let's assume I'm a pretty girl joining now working on for Cali Barbecue just for the sake of the conversation. And then the cook, and I've been added to a group chat randomly. And now one of the guys there, they have my number because we are in the same group chat. And now he is starting to text me late at night. Hey, what do you do after work? And it's just not right. And the ability for him to do that is only because we were using personal messaging apps where the default is my number is being shared. And then whose problem is it? Well, guess what? It's probably Sean's problem. It's an HR issue. And that happens all the time. So what if you can just avoid that? What if you can avoid somebody leaving the team and now, I don't know, comes with the legal action because you were using a jargon that you would find amusing to use while you were working together as a family, but now when somebody reads it from the outside, it doesn't look that funny. So he's got access to previous text messages. So all of those things are broken, and it's all because, I always say you can put the nail in the wall using a rock, but you're better off using a hammer because it was built for that. So you can get the job done, but when introducing the right tools, you get so much improvement. It's just incredible.
Okay. Restaurant employees are rarely behind the computer. How does Zenzap interfaces specify or specifically cater to on-the-fly communication without becoming a distraction during a busy service?
Yeah, I mean, everything we do is mobile first. We consider ourselves modern restaurateurs, and we understand exactly, to your point, Mandy, that I don't even expect my managers. I don't want my managers to have to use software where they have to go into an office. Every single restaurant owner that's listening to this, there is some back office that is just the unglorified part of hospitality. And like, we want our management, we want our front of the house staff, we want people taking care of our customers, giving a phenomenal food experience. For us, that's barbecue, that's cooking brisket, that's cooking ribs. And in order to do that, you have to be mobile first. And when you are mobile first, it's easier for me as the employer to know that when my staff is on, we actually don't let them have their phones because we don't want them communicating. The people that they need to communicate with are the customers and the management and the team that's on. So it makes it very easy to know, like, there's no reason that somebody actually has to use Zenzap during their shift, but in order to communicate after their shift, 100%. That's why we use Zenzap.
In a high-pressure kitchen or floor environment, too many pings are kind of toxic. How does Zenzap help managers filter urgent operational alerts from general team chatter? How do you separate what's the chatter and what's the necessary information that needs to get through?
When switching from non-context-based conversations, as you have on a group chat, that's why they call it a group chat, because the topic is the group, and you move into a topic-driven conversations, then think about having, I don't know, a topic about new invoices coming in from one of your software, QuickBooks, for example, or daily cashier status going in from toast, or I don't know, shift management. I know Sean is using, I think, 7 shift, coming in from 7 shift and allowing people to switch shifts easily, integrated with your tools, or just a random conversation about management. So when messages and content is delivered in different contexts, even to the same team, it's easier to not fall into what we call in Zenzap the priority paralysis, right? This moment where you are like overwhelmed with so many indicators and so much information, you just can't know what's important now. So the priority paralysis is the enemy that is being probably handled very good with Zenzap, especially when thinking about instant communication, which is not just texting, it's just making things instant and solve right now and right here.
Communication often dies if it isn't actionable. Does Zenzap bridge the gap between sending a message and ensuring a task like a prep list or maintenance issue is completed? How do you separate that?
Yeah, I mean, we use task management all the time through Zenzap. I mean, it's modern communication tools like Zenzap. I mean, especially what Zenzap's allowed us to do is allow us, when a manager forgets an order and somebody else is at the store, like we're allowed, like we make it makes it very easy for us to make sure that tasks are getting completed. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think communication and task management is one of the superpowers of Zenzap.
Yeah, well, I think it's for those who obviously would never use Zenzap. Zenzap brings alongside to the chat a very powerful yet easy way to manage collaborative, what we call to-dos. So you can turn a message in one click into a to-do, attach it to, I don't know, to Sean, and tell Sean, hey, please get it done by tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then it's recorded within the chat and is also being visible in like a specific view of the to-do. So the dance between a text into making it actionable, so turning text into actionable items, this dance is super easy. And this maneuver is just flawless in because it was built for that. By the way, I'm going back to the roots of the name Zen and Zap. We wanted to do this very zenny, very calm, because we are helping such a noisy businesses. Well, Sean, his day is challenging, but we want to get him to a place where he can get things done very quickly, to zap all of his to-dos, to get things off his mind. So that's a part of it.
Burnout is high in the restaurant industry. How does the platform help staff kind of unplug when they're off shift while ensuring the restaurant still functions smoothly?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the premise of Zenzap. I think we kind of talked about that before. It's understanding that if you're on a group chat, if you're in a WhatsApp message, there is no turning it off. But when you're on a Zenzap, communication, my management team, my front of the house team, they don't have to worry about being inundated with things about the restaurant if they're not on shift. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry.
I was going to say that I would just have a hard time turning it off because I'm nosy. I want to know what everybody's doing.
No, I think it's not about turning off and on. It's more about not being dictated. And I give you the paralysis that I always had before using our own tool, which is Zenzap. I'm speaking now. Let's say I'm off work and I'm chatting with my wife or with my father or whatever, and then I get a message from my colleague or from a partner, and he sees I'm online. So I have to answer. And if I don't answer, it's not good. I'm gonna feel, and it gets me into like a stress mode. Well, I'm just gonna answer, and then that's the situation you can avoid. But it doesn't take off the choice of being proactive. It doesn't mean that you can't open your email when you're on a coffee break, right? Your work email. It's totally possible, but it is your choice. So instead of dictating to you what to do and how to do, we're giving you the choice, and actually it empowers employees.
Turnover is a reality in hospitality. How quickly can a new hire get up to speed on the kind of the tribal knowledge stored within Zenzap compared to traditional methods?
Onboarding new employees is a hassle in any sort of way, from turning into like a shift management software, then HR, then financing and whatever. Adding communication component is hard. Adding the right team member to the right group chat, if you're using any sort of like a personal, it's just a mess, and no history involved, no access to past communication. Think about the simplest question. I got to the shift first and I don't know the code for the alarm. Yet again, I'm going to answer, hey, what's the code for the alarm? So when using a tool, like when using Zenzap, we are integrated to HR softwares and shift management software. So once you onboard somebody to 7-Shift, for example, he's got a Zenzap account. And once you offboard him, he is offboard Zenzap. And then when he is auto-joined into the right groups based on his location and his title, he's got access to past information. We're using AI now. We're just releasing it very soon to like a local GPT. So when somebody wants to send a text message saying, hey, what's the code for the alarm? Instead of just shooting the message and disturbing everyone, the AI can say, hey, before you send that, maybe this is the answer and that's what you're looking for. So you reduce communication, you reduce noise for 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 members in the group, and you get the job done of getting the right code for the alarm.
That's awesome.
So, that's, local question, like, I don't know, what's the, whatever, any data point that is already on the chat is there and is accessible, from photos analysis to text to PDFs. So now suddenly you're moving forward from having just a simple group chat into a company knowledge, and it's like center of knowledge, and that's just unleashing the ability for scaling. For Sean to open now another 5 locations is far more easy when having such a technology.
For a restaurant owner wanting to fix this, their communication issues, what does a real solution look like, and what's the first step they should take?
I think that we live in a world where restaurant owners need to have the best technology. Just understanding the given nature of the high demands that we have. It's not easy running a restaurant in 2026. It's actually gotten more challenging since 2008 when we first started. And I think what's the most important is finding technology partners that are building tech tools right alongside us. The reason why we, really like working with Guy and his team is that they understand that we're in the weeds. Like literally, we're in the weeds every single day, 365 days out of the year, 24/7, trying to build a business. And when we have ideas about things that we want, if it's a 7-Shifts integration or a Toast integration, like how is it going to make my life as an operator easier? Guy and his team, like they are willing to work 365 days, 24/7 to build it for us. And I mean, you can't say that about WhatsApp. You can't say that about iMessage. You can't say that about Slack. You got to have a team that's nimble, that believes in this business. And, Zenzap's been proving that day over day.
I would recommend, and I've seen many hospitality businesses, from small chains to just privately owned like top restaurants to hotels. We serve like hundreds of employees on few locations all across the US, the UK. I've seen many. I would recommend to anybody hearing this podcast, if you want to know about how to integrate technology smoothly with your operative business, you should contact Sean. Like their team is doing an amazing job of finding and combining the right tools with the day-to-day workflow, which is not a trivial task. To make sure you're like doing this dance between technology, that is easy to implement on one hand, and it will give you the 10x or the 5x you're looking for, you should. I'm sure Sean is available.
I am weirdly available. I'm weirdly available to have that digital hospitality conversation.
They're amazing with technology and how to integrate that into your day-to-day.
We believe that that a restaurant here in San Diego is the same that a restaurant in New York City is the same that a restaurant in London. We all have challenges, no matter what, and the way that we solve those challenges is not only with technology, but back to what I said, the humans that are building the technology. Because there's plenty of big brands out there that they don't care about the operator, and like Zenzap, they care about us, and they've proven that day over day.
All right. Well, we are out of time. Gentlemen, thanks so much. This has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you for the time. And Sean, always
appreciate you. Keep building.
Yeah, I will. Well, working days are nice for that. So.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Restaurant Operator Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.